Okay, it's Bank Holiday Monday, and we're having a game. We didn't do a game yesterday on the typical Sunday because the day before that I drank enough to kill a normal person. So yes, we had to postpone that. But today I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready for some action. So again, we're going to be playing Ogre Kingdoms versus Orcs and Goblins. You'll be glad to see that I've got one or two more ogres in my army this time. In fact, nearly everything is ogre related, although there's still a few dodgy proxies here and there. So the points, it's 2,400 apiece, and I will take you through my deployment. On my left flank, I have a Stonehorn. Just there, I have a Saber Tusk, followed by 4 Mournfang Cavalry with all the trimmings. Behind here we have an Iron Blaster. Then we have a unit of Iron Guts with a Slaughter Master in there, ably proxied by my really very jammy Skaven Greyseer. Then right in the middle here we have another Saber Tusk. Then next to them we have a unit of 9 Ogre Bulls with a BSB. Then just behind we have a Noblar Scrap Launcher, and we have 4 Lead Belchers, another Saber Tusk, and some Noblars, ably proxied by some Skaven, who are pretty fitting as they are almost the lowest of the low. So yeah, we will go on to Ollie's deployment.
Okay, now it's time for Orc and Goblin deployment. Changed the list a little bit, added a few things, taken a few things out, and got some more models through, so it's a few less proxies. There's still a few. We've got the Tomb King's Screamskull Catapult, which is going to represent a rock lobber. We have 5 Wolf Riders who are partially assembled. We've got 40 Night Goblins. They've got nets this time, so I hear they're pretty good. We've got 25 boys with the War Boss in. Sorry, 24 boys with the War Boss. We've got a huge unit of Orc Biggins. That's got the Black Orc Battle Standard Bearer and my Shaman in. It's level 4. This is representing a Doom Diver. Then we have 20 Night Goblins with bows. Heinrich Kemlar there and Damsel of the Lady are representing level 1 Goblin Shamans. Night Goblin Shamans, that is. We've got 24 Black Orcs, a Mangler Squig, who looks just like a Space Wolf, and 2 Spear Chuckers, and that's it. So that's me line. We're playing the Battle Line mission. We actually rolled for it and got it, so that's probably what we would have picked anyway, but we'll see. So yeah, that's Orc and Goblin deployment, and we're going to roll to see who gets the first turn. I get +1, believe it or not, because I actually have less units than Si does. So yeah, so I win with a 7. So Orcs and Goblins turn coming up. Okay, it's end of Orcs and Goblins turn 1. Everything just kind of shuffled up a tiny little bit. The Wolf Riders vanguarded, then shuffled up a little bit more just so they could shoot at the Saber Tusk over there. And that was it. The Mangler Squig moved up as far as he could. I think rolled an 8. Then in the magic phase, we rolled a 5, managed to get a channel, so I had 6 dice. Threw 2 of the dice at the Hand of Gork, trying to move this Mangler Squig a bit further forward. Unfortunately, Si dispelled it. And then I cast Foot of Gork and stomped me some Iron Guts. I think I did how many wounds?
I did 11.
I did 11 wounds to them. And then it went again, and I managed to stomp on these guys, kill one of them, and scattered a little bit off them. So I was just trying to cause some panic tests across the board. So unfortunately, they both passed their panic tests. Then it went again, but Gork missed this time and then got bored and wandered off. So it was a pretty good magic phase actually, considering how few dice they got. Killing like 3-4 ogres and wounding another. It's a good start. Unfortunately, I've managed to balance that out with my shooting phase. Both the spear chuckers fired at the Mournfang, one hit but failed to wound. The Doom Diver missed the Mournfang completely, and this guy fired at the Stonehorn and just got a misfire and can't shoot this turn or next turn. So, and these guys fired at the Saber Tusk but didn't do any wounds. So that was it. So end of Orcs and Goblins turn 1. Still pretty happy. Love putting loads of wounds on ogres, makes me feel good. It's big and it's clever. So we'll see you at the end of Ogres turn 1.
Okay, end of Ogres turn 1. Yeah, a bit more cautious with the Fanatics this time, as I've now remembered that they exist again. Basically, everyone's sort of moved up a little, just sort of edged forward. This Saber Tusk got nice and far forward to within 8 inches and drew out the 3 Night Goblin Fanatics, although again Ollie failed to roll enough to hit me. Magic phase was was incredibly uneventful. In that, nothing really happened.
Oh, you do need to roll for...
Oh yes, I do, yes. Yeah. Well, this might be turn 1 conceding. No, that's good. Yay! Okay, so, yeah, Grutsickle's good. But yeah, even though I had sort of good whack of the magic phase, I got a bit unlucky with the spells I got, and I didn't really get... I got too much offensive stuff, I think, for ogres. Now, it's the luck of the draw, unfortunately. But yeah, bit of a bugger. Yeah, because really my magic isn't much good until I get in close. But I did manage to put 2 wounds on the Mangler Squig, which I then later finished off in the shooting phase with my cannon. Excuse me, but that's now 2 cannon kills I've got, so I'm pretty impressed with myself.
Both the Mangler Squig as well?
Yes.
Both the partially wounded Mangler Squig?
Well, this time I did actually roll enough to kill anything on this board outright. I mean, I rolled 5 wounds, totally didn't roll a 1 like I normally do. So yeah, it's good. Scrap Launcher missed. The Lead Belchers, however, did rather nicely. Wiped out the Wolf Riders. Well, that's small gains really, but at least I won't have them harrying me. So yeah, not too bad. I didn't really kill anything else though, which was a little disappointing. But yeah, well, it's now Orcs turn 2, and I think I'm going to be smelling Gork's rotting feet again.
Okay, it's end of Orcs and Goblins turn 2, and the Goblin Showman's bailed out the unit. These guys just kind of sort of moved around a bit, just expecting the charge. The Fanatics rolled around a bit, luckily didn't hit any of my stuff, or any of size. This one went mental and went all the way over here. Saber Tusk is still perfectly fine, it's quite annoying. So that was the movement phase. Then in the magic phase, I managed to get off hand Gork and send these boys all the way over here, which of course released their Fanatics. 2 failed to reach him, 1 went through and did a wound. Then the other spell I had got dispelled. Tried to cast Foot of Gork using a Power Stone, but Sai rolled 1 more than I did, so yeah, she dispelled it. Then in the shooting phase, these guys managed to pick off the Saber Tusk, rather jammily, much to Sai's disgust. These guys did 2 wounds to a Mournfang, which was really nice. Probably helped Sai a little bit, just by having 1 less Mournfang in the way.
Well, it's not helped me out at all.
Just trying to make him feel better, but my Doom Diver managed to kill himself, which was nice. And this guy should be able to find next turn, they say. But those Goblin Workmen, yeah. So yeah, so it's looking pretty. Yeah, it looks okay. I wouldn't say it looks good, but got some fanatics in my face, got some fanatics in his face, so everything's as it should be, I think. Got Night Goblins staring down some impending doom. So anyway, so that's the end of Night Goblin. Sorry, not Night Goblin. Orcs and Goblins turn 2.
Okay, end of Ogre's turn 2. Yeah, not so great. With basically my Mournfang sandwiched between a load of fanatics, I was pretty much buggered either way. So I ended up just charging them straight forward at the Night Goblins, who decided to flee. However, I got lucky. I only took a wound, or I only took enough wounds just to basically lose another Mournfang, and then I got a massive charge and ended up hitting the Black Orcs all the way over here with 2 of the Mournfang cavalry. However, everyone else just sort of moved up. I took out a couple more fanatics over here, and basically just sort of managed to stem the whirling psychopaths. But yeah, unfortunately, the magic phase again wasn't much cop, as essentially the spells I've rolled in this situation, in this battle, are no good, really. There's only one really decent spell, which is me +1 strength, and then Ollie can just sit and laugh and wait and keep 6 dispel dice back for that, because what am I going to do? Be stubborn, but yeah, pretty much just be stubborn or force panic tests at the general's leadership. So yeah, not much doing here at the moment. So yeah, the magic phase was pretty much a write-off. The close combat, it did very well. I wiped out about half that unit of Black Orcs. Did a massive number of casualties with only 2 Mournfang, which is great. I mean, when they do their business, they do their business. But 4, and there wouldn't have been enough Black Orcs left to, well, clean their hooves, let alone doing anything else. So.
Oh yeah, you would have got 2 stomp attacks as well.
No, I wouldn't, because the stomps would have gone last as well.
So they all strike last?
Yes.
Yeah, so do I. Because they're great weapons.
Okay. Well.
Wasn't doing that.
Is it just 2d6 stomps, is it?
No.
Oh no, that's thunder stomp,
yeah.
isn't it? Just 2.
Over there! So...
One.
That's 1 wound, yeah. So, 1 dead.
Yeah. So, I've wiped out about half the unit of Black Orcs. However, that's not enough. So yeah, it's not looking that amazing for Ogres at the moment. Yeah, well, it's not looking amazing. So on to Orcs turn 2. No, Orcs turn 3. Yeah.
Okay, it's the end of Orc and Goblins turn 3. Black Orcs kind of moved back a bit. These guys just kind of prepared themselves for the Ogres. The Night Goblins charged into the Lead Belchers, and that was about it. The magic phase was a bust. I got 3 dice after a channel because I rolled double 1s. Tried to cast Hand Gork, went off with Irresistible Force. In the end I didn't roll enough, so I didn't really get to do what I wanted to do and just move one of these guys in the way of that. But the miscast still killed 3 boys and put a wound on my shaman, so pretty bad idea really. Then in the shooting phase, this missed. One of these misfired and can't fire this turn or next, and the other one missed as well, I think. Then in the close combat, just to redeem myself, my Night Goblins charged in, did 4 wounds to the Lead Belchers. Lead Belchers killed 2 of my guys, so he lost by 7. But then he rolled double 1, so he actually held. So he performed a gripe ritual that only is known to Sai, and it paid off. So, so yeah, so that's how it's looking at the moment, and we'll see you at the end of Ogre's turn 3.
Okay, end of Ogre's turn 3. Basically, I needed some pretty hefty charges going off. The Stonehorn failed its charge, so it's pretty much out in the open and now dead. I did manage to get the charge off here, however, and I did do a hell of a lot of attacks and wounds to that unit. And in the end, even with the wholesale slaughter of the remaining Iron Guts, there's basically nothing left of them other than the Slaughtermaster. Then yeah, the unit of Ogre Bulls has basically got well, lost a few guys, but yeah, they're pretty much buggered round next turn. This combat ended a draw. I did, however, manage to get my first out-and-out kill, as there's no rock logger over there now. So this is one minor positive. But yeah, unfortunately, that's pretty much me lost. So we're going to play out the next turn, see what happens, make it official and all. But yeah, things is bad. So yeah, we shall see what happens in Orcs and Goblins turn 4.
Okay, it's the end of Orcs and Goblins turn 4, and my war boss declared a war, and everything charged that could anyway. My Black Orcs charged into the Stonehorn, and the war boss and his unit charged into the side of the Ogre Bulls, and that was pretty much it. So being Orcs, they a bit distracted in the magic phase, didn't really get anything off. Attempted to cast sneaky stabbing on these guys, but decided to spell that really quickly. So it would have given me rerolls to hit and wound with my war boss, which is never a good thing. Yeah, so the magic phase is pretty much a non-event. I did manage to get poisoned attacks on my Black Orcs from Heinrich Kemmler over here. But he managed to get a miscast, and I was saying to Sai, oh, it doesn't matter, he's on his own. It's, you know, it doesn't really, who cares, he's a level 1 goblin. But he actually got the one which did a strength 6 hit to all the other wizards. So he put another wound on my Great Showman and this wizard, but didn't wound himself. So he actually, yeah, he actually stabbed the other two in the back. But yeah, I got off the poison attacks. Shooting phase, nothing happened. I tried to find one of these at his scrap launcher, did nothing. And then we went straight to close combat. So with the war well, with the war going on. Yeah, so the Black Orcs charged in here, did 5 wounds to the Stonehorn, but then the Stonehorn unfortunately was still alive and managed to do untold amount of wounds to these guys. I think it was 7 or 8. But luckily I won by 1. He failed his break test and I run him down only just. But I'll take that. So these guys have kicked some serious butt in this game. And then the Night Goblins managed to break the Lead Belchers finally and chase them down. And then in this combat, the War Boss got 9 strength 10 attacks, but only hit with 3 of them, and then only wounded with I think 2 of them, and then side passed the saving throw. So yeah, but you know, he's still the killiest orc about, so I'm pretty happy with that. But his boys did much better and killed loads of Ogre Bulls, and the Ogre Bulls didn't do very well at all. Although this standard bearer did manage to kill my Great Showman with his 1 remaining wound. And so the Slaughtermaster broke. These guys are still stubborn from Sly's last magic phase, so they're still hanging in there. So we're going to do the next turn just to see what happens. But yeah, so looking pretty good for Orcs and Goblins right now, with the war with the war going on. My guys are pretty confident they're going to stomp the rest of the ogres. So it's just a case of a bit of housekeeping on the last turn. Okay, so that's the end of Orcs and Goblins turn 4.
Okay, end of Ogre Kingdom's turn 4. Well, basically, I had to charge in the Scrap Launcher and the Iron Blaster against the Night Gorbos. which just absolutely ruined them. Unfortunately, I failed to get my Slaughtermaster back, so I didn't have a magic phase, which is a real shame, because it would have been handy being stubborn. But yeah, in the end, even though I laid a challenge down, and Ollie accepted with Chain Dog. Chain Dog did my BSB 3 wounds. BSB just reached out with his meaty claws, beat Chain Dog to death, threw the axe away into the crowd, and started noisily chomping down. Unfortunately, he was too distracted, and when his mates broke and run, he was left out in the open and overrun terribly. But at least he died with a full stomach, which is glorious for an ogre. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of it, as we see. See the last remnants of the ogre balls, the bellower calling for the retreat, appropriately, being charged down by a big old horde of orcs. He's probably got a few corpses under his arms for later. These guys, well, they're going to bed without their supper. But yes, that's pretty much, as it stands, the end of my turn 4. And then in just a second we will get back to what happens at Lamentations. Okay, we've totaled up the points, and the result is there's about 16 points difference. So I scored 1,238. And Ollie scored 1,222.
So it's a draw it's almost a perfect draw. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I am too, considering how the game went.
Yeah, definitely. It was a proper scrap. These guys are still fleeing and that, but we mutually agreed to end it. So he still got some points for these, and he did slot my war boss, which gave him an extra 100 points. So perfect draw. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I did think after my war boss and my shaman died that I was probably going to lose. So it was not surprised it was just a draw. I think for me, certainly the men of the match, my Black Orcs, who managed to kill the Mournfang and the Stonehorn.
A quarter of the army.
Yeah, I mean that's what?
600 points exactly.
600 points. So yeah, these guys are awesome, and I think they're about 300 points. So they kick some butt. Night Goblin Shamans didn't do a lot, but you know they're so cheap that I'd happily take them again. I was trying that out instead of level 2, just 2 level 1s, just for a bit better channeling and that, and the extra magic item allowance. These boys kicked some butt. They got charged by 2 ogre units, survived, killed them, sent them packing. Can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, the extra hand weapons very nice.
Yeah, they're much better than the shields, I think. You need the attacks, I think. These guys in the flank was obviously great. Chain Dog didn't do so well this time, but he didn't have sneaky stabbing cast on him, which was kind of what my plan was for this unit, just to go in flanks and get sneaky stabbing on him. Which is another reason to take 2 Night Goblins, because then I can have 2 chances of casting it. I kind of forgot that plan. Although the poison really helped over here to get the wounds on the Stonehorn. So yeah, so fine with these. The Night Goblins did really well. They sent those dead belchers packing. Unfortunately, the combined charge of 2 ogre chariots smashed them, but that's not a great surprise. So I'd probably happily take those again. The Night Goblin archers did awesome. They really held up his Mournfang and ended up the sort of defining factor in what killed the Mournfang, just by sending the fanatics out and then the Mournfang charging too far after them, which allowed me to charge the Black Orc. So yeah, that unit was great. So happily take those. These guys did nothing at all. I think they put a couple of wounds on the Mournfang. That was good, but they're so cheap. I'd happily take them again. Rock Lobber did nothing. Doomdiver blew itself up, but you know, still take those. Just they're fun. Wolf Riders did nothing, but you know, lots of killing was done from your boys, and that's what the army's about. Just loads of boys chopping people up. So, and I'm still loving Orc and Goblin magic. I think it's brilliant. So yeah, so that's kind of sum up on my units. I think overall my plan was pretty simple, which was just to wait until Gork had done his stomping and then charge in and kill off the remnants. And that's pretty much what I did. Didn't go so well this time though, because Sai was well up for a fight this time. And although he fluffed many attacks, he still managed to kill loads of orcs. So maybe he's in fact an orc. But yeah,
very hungry ogre.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm pretty pleased. I really enjoyed that game actually. I love a good slugfest in the middle, and that's exactly what we got. So, and I love killing those Mournfangs as well. Makes me feel good. So I shall hand you over to Sai now, because I think that's about all I've got to say with this one.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had my own ideas as to what I was going to do to combat the Green Horde. It's just a shame I forgot it about halfway through my first turn. I did as I should have done, which was leg a Saber Tusk right up into the Night Goblin's face, because the 16-inch move is just enough with that kind of deployment to draw them out. Which was great there, because they didn't really give me any hassle whatsoever around there. But over here, I did make a mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was more I was concerned that they were going to get in the way of the Mournfang, which was very silly, because obviously I had just had a major brain fart and forgot that they're actually supposed to go in and draw them out. Because I think if I'd got the Fanatics out in the first turn, I could have manoeuvred into a better position to get at the Black Orcs, because then the Black Orcs would be sat right next to a load of whirling Fanatics, as would the big unit here. So the emphasis is then really on me to kind of manoeuvre into a better position while Ollie has to get away from whirling death. So yeah, if things had gone maybe a little bit more sensibly, I would have got a full charge with the Mournfang, and I'm pretty confident I would have wiped the Black Orcs off the face of this board with a full charge. Then really and truly, if I'd managed that, if I'd taken that flank, I would have sent the Mournfang over into them. The Thunder Tusk, just to sort of Stone Tusk, just to mop up bits and bobs around here, would have been great. I think certainly in this army, two smaller units didn't seem to work as well this time. I lost out on some attacks. Admittedly, I think if maybe, no, it seems very weird to say this, but if I dropped the Iron Guts and gone with just a big horde of Ogre Bulls, maybe perhaps got some better combat buffs if I rolled a bit luckier with the spells. I think maybe things would have been a bit different. I might have managed to maul this big unit of Orcs a lot better. But yeah, they were pretty nasty. Their extra hand weapons just seems the way forward. I mean, you don't really...
Yeah, they did much better, didn't they?
Well, with that number of guys, you don't really care if you have casualties. It's kind of like that with the Skaven. You just sit there and you think, well, I've got overwhelming numbers, so yeah, I don't give a crap if stuff dies or not. It's just so long as there's enough attacks going out as there is coming in, because then even reduced in size, that unit is still pretty dangerous. That's a lot of attacks still. It's like
30 attacks still.
30 attacks still as it stands. And then obviously supported by these guys. Yeah, that's just terrible. I think I've got to get better with my redirection. Because obviously redirecting these guys would have been a bit better, because if I'd had a nice big unit, redirected them, sorted these lot out, I would have happily taken the charge. Then hopefully my luck would have played out as it was. Gank Chain Dog again, which is beautiful, and then worked my way through those guys. The Slaughtermaster did pretty well. I mean, that's definitely the key to the thing. Grutzical, and that guy is just excellent. I might have to experiment with a slightly bigger or slightly different. I'm going to experiment with a slightly different list. I quite like this one. It did a lot, but I feel that the main killer unit just wasn't enough in this circumstance. I feel like I need some more killing power. So I've got some ideas for a few little magic items here and there that I might take. So yeah, it'll be back to the drawing board. I think I'm definitely going to play Ogres again next week. They're very fun to play. I really enjoy them. And then maybe the week after, if Ollie fancies it, we'll have a Vitok versus Vitok battle, and we'll go Skaven versus, because I think I really like the Orcs and Goblins. They got some amazing stuff. Jeremy Vitok is a very cunning writer. I think he's up there with Phil Kelly for me, and I think Ollie might be feeling this way when he's enjoying his
Other than the
Orcs.
help it.
Well, yeah. All right, the help it is pretty dirty, but yeah, you've got.
I'd never forgive him for that.
No. But yeah, I think he's on the right path. He certainly is far better than Matt Ward, very much better than Matt Ward. But yeah, I'll share with everyone the remark I made to Ollie earlier in the game, is that he gave up playing Imperial Guard because essentially he always constantly played the same tactic. It was a very defensive force that pounded everything. Well, as any good army employing lots of long range artillery, pound the enemy into submission and then mop up the rest. And even though he's quit playing Imperial Guard because of those tactics, I think practically every single army he's ever played after that, with the exception of the one Ogre battle from a while back, he's done pretty well the same. Orcs really, with that, certainly with that foot of Gork, they can really pull that off, because you've got night goblins that you don't want to go anywhere near. You've got the foot of Gork, which forces the enemy forward into whatever trap you wish to lay. Because, I mean, certainly for ogres, you do not want to be stood around taking a lot of multiple wounds. I mean, if it's bad enough just the number of wounds it can inflict, but then when each one of those is multiplied up, it hurts.
Yeah, and the main reason as well is, I mean, I know you didn't have a horde this time, but there's no way orcs can survive the front of a ogre horde. So I kind of need to soften you up.
Definitely.
I think it's a good tactic. Pretty much any game, really.
It's an awesome tactic. I mean, totally, you've got to do that.
That's what artillery's for, though,
Definitely.
Don't take it if you're going to charge in.
That's it, yeah.
And this is a chariot, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like the Ogre chariots are great. I mean, D6 strength 5 hits. When there's nothing left to shoot at, they're a chariot. I mean, I've never had this with
a good chariot.
yeah. And I've managed to get lots of kills with the cannon. I mean, I'm quite certain that as soon as I buy a model, my luck will be utterly piss poor. But I'm happy that I'll at least have these fond memories of killing things to soothe my rage. But yeah, it was a good game. I'm still quite shocked as to how much the ogres managed to do, even when they got dilapidated and beaten up. Like, the Mornfang were incredible. I mean, full charge of Mornfang. Well, 2 Mornfang did 17 wounds on the Black Orcs.
Oh, it was 11 or 12.
11, 12. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Reduced their number down to nearly half. Just with that, I mean, that was pretty incredible. I think if I'd maybe had the Stonehorn in as well,
yeah, that would have
I would have got it, but that wasn't happening. I mean, Stonehorn was unfortunately out of range. But yeah, it was good. So I'm sort of learning what this army does. So yeah, there'll be a few little minute tweaks and changes. See what happens, and yeah, we'll have to see what happens next week.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'll be.
I think the change I'm going to make is I'm going to take a Goblin Shaman, just to try out the more buffy side of Orc magic rather than the stompy side. Because I quite like the buffs, and my Wizard Elf seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's in the front rank of a horde, so it's probably going to get in a combat.
My standard bearers ate well before they would die.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to give a Goblin Wizard a go. But other than that, I think my list is going to pretty much be the same. So
yeah, it's a good list. I think I was going to mug the Noblars off, but having them read my codex about halfway through the game, I realised that indeed Noblars have throwing weapons, which would have been brilliant because that would have been really useful for trying to kill errant little madcap goblins. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see next time. I'm going to go and hit the armies list and check out Army Builder and see what I can come up with. And then I'm probably going to get some models painted because I've nearly got a whole army now. I mean, this is it's good. But yeah, what's coming up is going to be our escalation game. Our friend has managed to lay his hands on a Lizardman Codex, so we're going to be playing some little 500-point games. We'll also be doing some videos and photo montages of our armies and how we paint them, what we're going to do, what they look like. Just to kind of like little step-by-step kind of showing how every week we get more and more painted. So yeah, you want to look out for that. But yeah, we'll see you next week for another game.